28 years ago, 1996, August the 16th. It was a Friday morning. A woman goes into labor. Her boyfriend at the time has been given a choice. Do we save the mother or do we save the baby? And because he is an absolute legend, he grabs the doctor, puts him against the wall and says, you better save both of them. And the doctor did. Then he told him, sir, I'm sorry. Your son is not going to be a normal person. He's going to be disabled. You guys are going to have to take care of him forever. And he told them that is unacceptable. And it was unacceptable. And ladies and gentlemen, lo and behold, I sit before you. Happy birthday to me. Let's start the show. All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show. All over the show, if you don't know already. I'm a poet and I know it. Nah, that's lame. Anyways, I like being lame sometimes. I think it's good. I think you have to... How can I say? I think you have to be okay with being silly. I think it prevents you from taking life too seriously. Because if you take life too seriously, man, like you're gonna end up, in weird places. You're really gonna end up in weird places, weird spaces mentally. Like, is everything to be taken seriously? You can't joke around. You can't mess around. How about you mess around like 85% of the time? And even when you're doing serious stuff, I mean, that's probably the time you wanna, mess around. And I think that's a good way to live, to be honest. It's how I live my life, I take things seriously when I need to. And I try to keep things lighthearted and fun, I could have made this a serious podcast because I think about a lot of serious topics, it was going to be, I was going to be like, okay, I'm going to make it like a philosophy podcast, just like how, like my experience reading and learning about philosophy and trying to get into that mind of thinking philosophically and all that. But all of life is philosophy. So when you're thinking, you are actually engaging in philosophy. When you're able to question something. But anyways, I don't want to get too into that. That's a whole other thing that is totally irrelevant to what I want to talk about. What do I want to talk about? I don't know, man. Not that. So anyways, welcome to the show. If this is your first time watching, please enjoy the show. If you haven't already, please subscribe. It really helps to help the show grow. And the show is growing. We're getting ever closer to having a guest on. And I can't wait. There was just a few setbacks. Because this episode I would have done this episode, but also in this week that I'm filming this episode, I would have had a guest on. That was the plan. Unfortunately, things didn't go that way. Just a couple of delays on my side, really. And that's okay. That is what it is, man. You just have to go on. You just have to plow on and move forward. Whatever circumstances come on your path, I was thinking about this a lot this past week. Just how when things need to be done, when you need to focus, when you need to just get on with it, right? You don't have the luxury of emotions, right? And even if you do have emotions, you don't have the luxury of expressing them, talking about them. You just have to get on with it, And I think that's a fortunate thing. I think that's a good thing. Because what makes us all so entitled to our feelings? I mean, if something absolutely horrible happens to you, yes, you're going to be affected emotionally. But for the most part, in your life, most of the things that happen aren't really that bad, Like, you're really going to be angry about doing the dishes, dude? The dishes? You want to be angry about that? Who's gonna do it? It's your turn. That's how we do it in our house here, and I think it works. It really avoids conflict. Um, like, no, I do the dishes too much. You must do. Like, it's nothing like that. We have this perfect balance. There's three of us that do the dishes, and we have this 3 week rotation where 1 week on certain days you do the dishes, you clean the kitchen, you cook, clean the lounge, clean the dining room, uh clean the passage and the bathrooms. We all have those things, and every week that happens, but every week you have a different thing to do, or different set of things to do, and one of those is cleaning the kitchen, man. So yeah, so I mean, you can't be mad about that. So I don't know, maybe that's a useful tip for you. If you find yourself always in conflict with your family members, then you might benefit from just being able to put a schedule down and say, hey guys, do we all agree on the schedule? Does it work for everybody? And then you sit down with it, and if it doesn't agree with everybody, you can figure it out until everybody agrees, or until there's enough of a win-win, and because and I think win-win is important. I think it's a fantastic approach to anything that involves negotiation, because negotiation is actually technically a form of conflict, right? Whenever there is conflict, it's that you and I maybe don't agree on something, or you are unhappy with something I've done, I'm unhappy with something you've done or not done, or whatever. That's conflict, right? But what it actually is a form of negotiation. And if you remove the loud noise, if you remove the harsh words, underneath all that is an opportunity to find, a balance between what comes from you and what comes from me. And that's win-win. And I think whether it's in family, whether it's in business, whether it's at work, in your workplace with your colleagues, or the dynamic between you and your superiors, or you and your subordinates, that relationship is necessary. I do believe that. I think the whole idea, and this is modern stuff, man. I think the whole idea of this authoritarian, dictatorial style of leadership and following it's not sustainable, because it breeds resentment, right? So you want to have a situation, whether it's in a family or, like I said, in all those different areas of life, where I'm happy and you're happy. And let's not leave this room until we figure out what makes us both happy and we can agree on something. That's win-win. I mean, you don't want to be the person that's like, okay, fine, you win, Like, no. But you also don't want to be the person that pushes so hard to get what you want that it disadvantages who? The people closest to you. Because if you're looking for a win with your family, now you have a family of losers, dude. And they're going to hate you because you're winning. That's normal. That's natural. And they're not going to hate you because you're winning. They're going to hate you because of your win made sure that they lose. And that can be avoided if we can say we can both win, because it's not ones and zeros, That's the realm of technology, and ones and zeros are it's binary, and we don't live a binary life. Nothing is binary. It's all on its own spectrum, like colors. Look at colors, right? I mean, geez, I'm guilty of this. I box colors into the very basic thing. Okay, that's pink, that's brown, that's orange, that's yellow, that's, red, or whatever. But then people will be like, oh, that's not pink, that's coral. What? Okay, that's coral. I get it. People can name all these outrageous colors, and it's ridiculous. But My point here is that if you're not seeking a win-win, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? When it comes to your family, you want everyone to be winners. You want to be a family of winners. Why must they be a loser? It's not necessary. You know, if you wanna, if you wanna live in a or work in a nice, clean work environment, then win-win has to be the priority. How can we both win? In business partners, maybe you're dealing with suppliers or you're negotiating a contract with a potential client. You want to both win. Imagine you win against your client. Like what are you doing? That is not a cooperative dynamic, and it's not sustainable. You want that cooperation, because it goes a long way. It definitely goes further than, I just got suckered into this contract by the people who provide a certain service or product to me. Like, no, you should not be that. That's bullying, right? That's bullying. If you're someone who always wants to win at everything, man, come on, man. And who doesn't like winning? But here's the thing. You don't have to win at the expense of others. That's the idea, right? It's not binary. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be that this is a 1 and this is a 0. Nah, what about 1 and 1? Can't we both be 1s? Why not? There's plenty of 1s to go around. Plenty of wins to go around, And especially with family. Actually, not especially with family. It can be true for anything, because now you can take that and you can carry it across further to say, okay, when catastrophe hits, you want everyone to be on board. Right? And that's the story of Noah's Ark, isn't it? The fact is that this message came from God to Noah. Noah was maybe someone who liked to drink. And, everybody was like, dude, this guy is bugging, man. He's out of his mind. He's saying it's going to rain a lot. We're all gonna die. Like, he maybe look like a flippin' doomsday prophet. Those crazy people are like, it's the end. The world is coming to an end. You must repent. The world is always coming to an end. First of all, the world has been coming to an end ever since human beings started walking this earth. But anyways, so God told him, Noah, there's gonna be a huge flood, dude, and you need to get a boat and all living creatures on that boat with your family so that you guys can survive, because nobody else is worth it. And then God's like, and then Noah's like, all right, man, I'll do it, And can you imagine if the relationship that he had with his children and his wife was not solid? Can you imagine if there was unresolved conflicts between them? Do you think that ark would get built? Do you think they would even believe what he's saying? Maybe they didn't believe in what he was saying, but they definitely believed in him. And that's why they did it. They're like, I don't know, Dad says we must build a boat. Let's not build a boat, young. That's cool. That's cool. But that can only be achieved when there's peace. When you have enough win-wins on both sides, Because the more I win and the more you lose, the relationship is the thing that suffers. It's the same with, marriage, right? It's the same with business. It's the same with, now I'm not married and I will never, bother to give marriage advice. I don't know what that's like. I've never been there. I will never presume. But it makes sense that in any relationship, whether it's between siblings, between, husband and wife, or husband and husband, or wife and wife, I don't know what you're into. I don't know. But anyways, or you and your boss, and you and your colleagues, or, you and your church community, you and your fellow brothers and sisters at church, or whatever, right? Student and teacher. If there's always a win-win dynamic, it becomes such a powerful thing, And now there's a relationship that has value. Not just one person taking the wins while the other person, accumulates losses. It's unsustainable, because that person is going to reach 0. And when that person reaches 0, the relationship is over. There needs to be balance, man. It's so important, But anyways, yeah, happy birthday to me, huh? It's my birthday right now. Well, this video comes out Friday, so Friday is my birthday actually. But yeah, it's actually Wednesday for me, so it's a bit weird to even think about it. But yeah, I think I also want to use this episode just to sort of reflect on my years. If I just think about things that have happened, man. Wow, I do feel I'm approaching the end of my 20s, and it's been a wild ride. It really has. you know, there has been heartbreaks, and there has been, you know, some really high highs in my life, really awesome times. Um, some real catastrophes have struck, and somehow, man, I've just managed to carry on. Just get on with it. I feel like I think that's words to live by, to be honest. Well, let's just get on with it. you know um because I've been in that time in my life, right, where you are just down and out. Something happens, a catastrophe, uh like out of high school. I was in a relationship that started in high school, and this relationship ended through some seriously heartbreaking circumstances, right? And I was the recipient of some serious, pain. Not physical pain, emotional pain, which isn't even real, to be honest. And that's what annoys me about emotions. It's like it's not this real thing, but emotions are real. What am I saying? Anyways, so during that time, man, instead of fighting through it, instead of realizing that I have been this person that survived a difficult pregnancy, a difficult birth, a unlikely life, really an unlikely life. In all likelihood, I should be in a wheelchair, unable to talk, unable to move my body, unable to do this, you know. But that was the likely case, and it's not the case, you know. And somewhere down the line, you forget that, man. Then when your heart gets broken, when you feel emotional problems, then I was down and out, dude. You know? Like, I remember being in bed so much. Like, the days, like, you'd be in bed, you wake up, right? And then you lay there. And you don't have the will to get out of that bed, dude. You don't have the will to die. You don't want to die. You don't think about that. But you are like, I'm done. you know? And it's so funny, man. You in that time it felt like just one long dream, and it took such a long time. During that year, this is 2015. And it was also my first year of university, dude, and that was insane, man. For that sort of whoopsaw to happen, it's such an important point in your life, and you can't control circumstance, man. Circumstance comes when it wants to, bruh, and you just had to deal with it, and brutal, really brutal. But I remember one point, man. It was like I had a vision, you know, a vision of being pulled out of the darkness just by light, just pure light, on me, and then pulling me out of this dark place. And not long after I had that vision, I attended somebody's funeral. And dude, the Bible verse of that funeral, like that the funeral service was based on, was Psalm 40, verse 1 and 2. And I will never forget. No, verse 1 to 3. And I have a Bible here, man. Let me read you this thing. I don't normally pull out the Bible to read for you guys. Don't want to offend anybody, but I don't care. If you're offended, man, you can go and eat ice cream. I don't know. I don't know what to say to you. But anyways, let me read this for you because this is like so memorable for me, man. It's something that's actually never left my thinking ever. Ever since this, never once have I been down and out ever again. Right? Here it is. It's Psalm 40. The headline is faith preserving, faith persevering in trial. And here it says, I waited patiently for the Lord, and he inclined to me and heard my cry. He also brought me up out of a horrible pit, out of the miry clay, and set my feet upon a rock, and established my steps. He has put a new song in my mouth, praise to our God. Many will see it and fear, and will trust in the Lord. Come on, man. Come on. Let's go. Ooh! So you have this vision about being brought out of the darkness by the light. And then a few days later, you attend a funeral, and those are the words that come from the altar. There is a God, dude. That's not a coincidence, man. I don't really believe in coincidences, I actually, no, that's not true. I think that there can be coincidences, but I think something like this has meaning, So, yeah, man. So, yeah. I mean, so that was a rough time in my life, right? I feel as though it was something that I had to now push through on my own. And that was my mistake. I'm not on my own. The Lord is with me. I'm not going to preach to you or anything, but it's important to understand that, part of who and what I am is someone who believes in the power of God, man. But I still laugh at people making jokes about Christianity. I think it's funny, because it's just a joke. It's just a joke, I'm not even going to share one of those jokes because I don't want to quote people's jokes. That's their jokes. It's their intellectual property. I only ever want to give you guys my jokes. But I don't have any for you today, actually. Anyways, because you know what it is now? I'm saving my jokes. I've already burned some of my jokes here. And if I have a lot more material, then for sure I'll put it online. I'll do, share some of my comedy here. But it's and maybe I'm being silly. Maybe I'm being unreasonable, But I feel like if I use a joke here, I cannot go on stage and tell a similar joke or the same joke. Because maybe someone's in the audience, maybe the whole audience, but that's me just being cocky, actually. Maybe the whole audience watches the podcast and be like, hey, man, you already told that joke, But I also think that for the sake of the work ethic, if you use a joke here, man, just come up with new jokes for being on stage, But yeah, I don't know if I'm even ready for stage, But what I think what I would really like to do is have... I don't just want to go to an event and then be on stage and try to tell jokes that I'm not sure are funny for other people. They're definitely funny to me. They crack me up, But, yeah, maybe I'm just being silly about it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being maybe I'm just being a sissy about it, man. No offense if you're a sissy. But it's maybe I'm just being nervous, Because I just think, imagine how, okay, I think the scene just has to be set, right? I feel like going to a place to do comedy in a place where comedy is not expected. It doesn't have the right medium to pass through, if you go to a show where everybody's, you go to a music event, it's like an open mic thing, but it's like everybody's singing. Now you come up and you try to tell jokes. Everybody's been enjoying music, and now you're suspending the music to test out material, to a crowd who's probably not receptive to that, And that's also the thing. You don't actually have good data on whether that joke works or not, because you're not sitting in front of a crowd who's ready to judge comedy. And the only way that comedy is judged is by laughter. So what I would like to do is, if there's an open mic thing where it's all about comedy, then I go and I test my material, and then I have the correct data. If there's no laughs, if I get booed off the stage, then I know, okay, cool, that material sucks. Or maybe I need to work on my delivery, or maybe I need to do this or that. Who knows what it could be. But yeah, and I think it's difficult, man. I think that's maybe one of the reasons why I would want to move out of Bloemfontein. Bloemfontein doesn't have a comedy scene. It has a great music scene. Well, not a great music scene. There's not many places to perform. But most of the musicians in Bloemfontein know each other. Like the more modern type of musicians, bassists, guitarists, drummers, singers, those people, they all really know each other. They find each other often around. They collaborate often. But then you get the classical musicians. They also collaborate often, but there's never like a cross. Maybe there is. I don't know. What do I know, dude? Don't listen to me. I'm an idiot, okay? I'm just saying whatever random stuff is coming out of my head. And maybe you're a bigger idiot because you're listening to it. Nah, you're not an idiot. Thank you for watching. Please don't leave. Anyways, so what was I saying? I feel like I haven't finished a single point of what I'm saying here, but that's the whole thing of the show, isn't it? But anyways, so... Man, what was I saying? Where did I come to with this? Where did I come from? I'm just gonna take it back. There was something I already said that. I wanted to... Okay, I was talking about musicians. Comedy, right? So the thing is, there's no comedy scene, right? I think if I had enough influence and enough financial resources, I think I would like to try to set up a comedy scene in Bloemfontein, because this is such a cool place, and I'm 100% sure that there are a bunch of people, who, like me, are writing jokes. Whenever you think of something funny, you write it down, and you're like, this might be something that can be used to entertain people. I'm 100% sure there are others like me, man. And maybe people funnier than me, dude. I hope there's people funnier than me, bro, because if I'm it, then that's a flop. So I just feel like, man, let there be a comedy scene. Because if there's a comedy scene, what also happens is comedians that are touring around South Africa right now, there's quite a few of them. I mean, that's how these like bigger comedians work on material, and then all that material that they work on, they eventually figure out what's the funniest stuff that they have. They put it together in an hour of comedy, a comedy special. You could sell it to Netflix or Amazon, or I think in South Africa those are really the only two platforms that actually are gonna do that. But anyways, it's like, just put it on YouTube, dude. Make an hour, put it on YouTube. That's probably the best thing you can do, And if you're smart about the marketing, I'm pretty sure you'll have that. But in Bloemfontein, there's no scene. You can't test out your material. You don't know what's good. You don't know how to deliver. It's like you figure it out, but you only can really figure it out in the moment. You can practice your jokes. You can practice telling them, and you need to, but you can't. You're not going to know how good that joke is until you have an audience ready to hear comedy, So I think once I have enough influence and financial backing, man, I would set up a bunch of venues for comedians to test out their material. And you know what happens in such a place? It's such an honest environment, because the crowd is... there's no conspiracy, right? There's no corruption. There's no nepotism. There's no fraud. It's just, if you're funny, everybody puts you there. If you're not funny, you're down here. What do you do if you're down here? Be funny. What if you do if you're up here? Be funny. It's just that simple. Man, like, But I just feel like it's a missed opportunity, man. I think so many people are fans of stand-up comedy, you know? Um, because that's what Netflix has brought to us. That's my favorite thing on Netflix, dude. Okay. That's no, that's maybe not true. My favorite thing on Netflix is Drive to Survive. I have watched that series, dude. I've watched that series like 4 times already. Okay, I'm on my 4th time basically, and I'm on the last season. So yeah, that's a thing. I just love it, man. Oh, it's crazy. But I've spoken about before, but I'm not gonna talk about it. But anyways, so it's that, right? Drive to Survive. Also, Star Trek. All the Star Treks except the original series. Not really a fan of the original series. I find it silly. I think they had to get a lot right. When it came to that universe, when it came to telling those stories in setting in that time, I think they had a lot to figure out, and it was mastered and perfected in the next series, which was Star Trek The Next Generation, which is my favorite, But I'm watching that, and once I watch that finished, I'm going to watch, and this is, I think, my second time watching Star Trek The Next Generation. Then after that, I'm going to watch, I think, Deep Space Nine, then Star Trek Voyager, then Star Trek Enterprise. That's going to be the thing. And then after that, I'll go on to Star Trek Discovery, which is brand new. It's like a series in the last few years that have been coming out. That's awesome. Like, Star Trek Picard is also cool. That's like set, like, made in the last few years. And then, what's the other one? Strange New Worlds is also one. And even the Star Trek movies. I love that stuff. I just love that future. That's my favorite future world. You know what I mean? People talk a lot about how the future is going to be this terrible place where we won't be able to breathe the air. There won't be much food. There's not going to be a lot of people because everyone will have been killed in nuclear war. Imagine if that actually happens. Imagine if nuclear war happens, dude. What does that mean? Dude, what if... Okay. This is crazy talk, okay? And don't listen to me because I'm a maniac. But imagine people are... And it makes sense. Okay, let me just think out loud a little bit. Okay, let me figure this out for myself. Let me just get this straight. Okay? Russia is at war with the Ukraine. The Ukraine has somehow managed to also invade Russia while Russia is invading the Ukraine. This is a recent development. Okay. So that is obviously aggressive. Okay. But it's war, dude. People are dying. People are getting killed. It's intense. Okay. It's getting worse. It's escalating. Okay. There's an escalating war going on in Eastern Europe, and it's pretty close to countries that don't want to be involved in war. You know what I mean? It's also a concern for the EU. It's a concern for the UN. It's a concern for NATO. Ooh. Also, Russia and China are friends. China is trying to get into India, dude. Or is it Pakistan? China is trying to get into India. Like, there's aggressive posturing happening by that border. Okay. Just bear with me, okay? So Russia is fighting Ukraine. China is kind of almost fighting India, I think. I'm not sure. Okay. Then Israel, Palestine, that whole situation, which is awful. War is awful, dude. And you know what, man? Can we all just stop thinking that people are geniuses or, respect what people are saying when they're saying the most obvious things ever? They say, I'm very opposed to war. Like, okay, we all are, you idiot. Anyways, let me not go too far into that. I don't wanna lose my stride here. But bear with me, okay? So there's 6 countries now involved in war in the Middle East and Europe. I think there's maybe some that I'm missing. I don't keep track of the news very much. But I know that those are the things that are happening, in a brutal way. Okay. So there's war. All right. China and Russia are friends. They are friends. Okay? They belong to a group of friends that include South Africa, dude. Russia, China, it includes Brazil. It's Brazil, Russia, India, China. So that's already a tension within the family, you know? And South Africa. And then there's other countries also joining. Okay. But that, as far as I can tell, is an economic alliance. Okay, we're helping each other out economically. Cool. But then what if war escalates? What if China and Russia join forces, you know? Because remember, like, okay, so I'm a huge World War II fan, right? Not a fan of a war, of course, but the history, man, it's fascinating, you know? It's fascinating to learn how something as wide scale and as, you know, intense as World War II took place. And one of the things that happened was two superpowers became friends, right? One superpower had ill intentions. The other superpower also had ill intentions, right? Russia and Germany joined forces. Germany and France, not France, Italy, like Hitler and Mussolini, they became friends. They also formed some sort of alliance because they had a similar philosophy, which is, you know, based on hatred and bigotry. Okay. Then, like, the UK is like, we have to defend France. France is being invaded, dude, by Germany. We have to help them, right? Okay, now Britain is brought into the war. Britain and France, they're struggling. They ask America for help. America, you guys need to help us, dude. We're struggling. The Germans are out of control. They are bombing us. They are attacking. They're taking over territory. You know, they probably gonna end up in America as well. America's like, screw you guys. We're not getting involved in another war because they have been a part of World War One, and they were like, it's not our war. Sort your own problems out, you know, which is fair. It's understandable, right? Then another thing happens in Asia at the same time, right? So there's war now. There's war in Europe, dude. It's brutal. Okay, Poland has been invaded. Russia and Stalin and Hitler are friends. You know, eventually Stalin turns against Hitler, right? So then Stalin joins the other team, which was a sketchy move to begin with, you know. But anyways, so because a different war happened after that. But what I'm saying is, Japan decides we need to take over China, you know, and then that happened, dude. That happened, right? And when that happened, Japan was actually winning. Like, they were successful, right? But then what also happened was there are some American occupied islands in the Pacific, right? Especially around where Japan is, like it's close to there, the Philippines, those places, right? And I don't know specifically, but bear with me, okay? So let's just keep score quickly. Currently, Germany invades Poland. It's wiping through France, and now Great Britain is trying to defend France, okay, against the Germans. America doesn't want to be involved in the war. Japan is invading China. Okay. Then Japan decides to attack America. Okay. Now, at the time, America is the sleeping giant, right? It's good times. Things are going well. There's prosperity. There's peace, right? There's a war going on in Europe, but we're in America, so woo! Then Japan decides to, drop bombs on Pearl Harbor. And then they basically woke up the giant, right? Because now America's like, okay, fine, we're going to fight. And then that was the end of the story. No, it wasn't. Then lots of war happens. The Allied forces, which is Great Britain, the US, Canada, all those places, France as well, South Africa was part of that. Not really, but there was some conflict. But, anyways, that's not relevant to the story. So, this became World War II, okay? A bunch of countries fighting another bunch of countries, right? You've got Russia, Germany, Japan on one side, right? And I think Italy, okay? Those are the Axis forces. Then you've got Great Britain, England, France. Those are the main characters, okay, of the Allies. They fight. It's brutal. Dude, millions of people die. They get into Germany. They find out, oh my word, Germany's been doing some terrible stuff to innocent people, which is awful and terrible. Okay, cool. Crimes against humanity, all that, yada, 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 yada. But it's a worldwide conflict. Everywhere in the world, conflict is taking place that relates somehow to all this stuff, right? Okay. So, World War II started with just two countries going at it, two other countries going at it, and another two countries going at it. Japan and China, Germany and, against England, I suppose. And, and Russia. Russia also had its own interest. Russia against Germany as well. So there's several wars going on. Okay. That's what's happening right now. And it's all in a similar region. The Ukraine is not that far from the Middle East. China and India's border, where the conflict is right now, is closer to the Middle East, dude. So this is this one area, where there's a lot of death and destruction, a lot of violence. Israel and Palestine, it's also there. It's like, it's all in this little. It's crazy to see that's where, Africa, yeah, you might say, but what about Africa? No, dude. Africa has always had its own things going on here. It's really crazy. You've got a dictator in power. You've got rebels fighting against the dictators, but the rebels themselves also become dictators. Everybody just wants power. Kill the leader, create a power vacuum, chaos ensues, civil war, death and destruction, child soldiers, all that crazy stuff. But what I'm saying is, what if the stuff that's happening now will escalate a few years from now into a world war? You think that can happen? I hope not. Why do I think of this stuff? You see, this is why I can't sleep at night. Because I will lay in bed. Oh, what a day. That was a wild day. Put on pajamas. Okay, getting to bed. Oh, bed is so comfy. Okay. That was a perfectly timed yawn because I actually needed to yawn right now. But anyway, so... yeah, then they get together and what am I saying? I'm all over the place, truly. Okay, you get into bed and then you're like, hey man, my mind is like, hey man, have you ever thought about what you would do if World War III started? And then I'm thinking to myself, why would you come up with that, So then I start doing research and I'm like, oh my word, it's so possible. There's a lot of parallels, but I don't want to be a naysayer. I don't want to be a doomsday prophet, That's why I love Star Trek so much. Sorry. That's the whole point, is why I was getting to World War III, is just to talk about Star Trek. Right? So in Star Trek, World War III actually did happen. Right? In the early 22nd century, I think, or the late 21st century, there was war, World War III, nuclear bombs, the works, right? And then that happens, okay? So everyone has nuclear weapons. All these countries that I'm talking about, right? Dude, they have nuclear weapons. Why do you guys have nuclear weapons, right? Oh, I forgot to end the story. Okay, so World War II ends when Russia's forces invade Berlin, and the Allied powers invade Berlin, and they meet in the middle, and then they're like, Hitler, your day is done. You've ruined the world. We're gonna destroy you now. So he kills himself. Okay, fine. Hitler's dead. Cool. The war's not over because Japan is still unwilling to. Oh my word! Why am I yawning? Is the time not right? Is it actually almost 1 a.m? I don't know what's going on. But anyways, so then that happens, and then they get together in Berlin, and it's over. But Japan is still being a pain in America's side, and then America's like, you know what? We have a bomb, and we're gonna drop it on your people, and they did. They dropped 2 of them, and that was the last time, the first time, and the last time that nuclear weapons were used in conflict, in military conflict. And it destroyed 2 cities, dude. Absolutely obliterated it. It's incredible. But if you go there now, if you go to Nagasaki and Hiroshima, you can see the place. It's beautiful. They've really rebuilt it. But such a terrible thing had to happen to end the war, And then the reality is really that could be the thing that starts a new war. Because what if America gets involved in Ukraine and Russia's conflict? Russia can be like, come and drop a bomb on America. And that's going to set it off, dude. Even if it's not a nuclear weapon being dropped in America, if you drop a bomb on America, dude, and then you read stuff like, oh, there's a Russian submarines in the Gulf of Mexico, off the coast of Cuba, then you're like, oh, sorry. There's an American submarine, close to Finland. Finland is on the border of Russia, by the way, if you don't know. And there's another one year and year. China's testing their weapons from their ships, close to Taiwan. Because China also has a bit of a conflict with Taiwan, or as they call it, Chinese Taipei. I don't know what's going on there. But you see, there's a lot of conflicts in the world, man. So it's starting to look real familiar. I really hope that this doesn't kick off. I truly, truly hope so, because I hope not. Because we're enjoying so much prosperity. We've made so much progress as a society. There's medicine now that was inconceivable, even 10 years ago. People have medicine now that can help reverse, degenerative diseases. Come on, man. We have stem cell research now. We've got, man, you could go get stem cells now. You could go to a place and they'll inject you with stem cells, and they'll be like, this is going to help you regrow, parts of your nervous system that maybe doesn't work, This is going to help prolong your life. This is going to improve the quality of your life. We have that. Modern medicine is incredible, We're living in an amazing time. And I think if World War III happens, it's going to be over. It's going to be over until the war is over, So let's just hope that there isn't another worldwide conflict, because I think that's going to be one that we might not recover from as a society. Whoo! Yeah, that gives me anxiety, dude. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Sometimes I can't help myself. I go down a rabbit hole mentally, and it's just like, you don't like what you find at the end of the rabbit hole. But anyways, so from that conflict that happened in Star Trek, where there was World War, nuclear weapons, the world was destroyed. From that, they were like, this should never be allowed to happen again. Let's all work together as a planet. Let's work together, combine our resources, both intellectually and physically and financially. Put it all together. Let's end all our personal problems in this world. Let's end hunger. Let's fix the weather. Let's go explore space, man. Let's colonize other planets. Let's explore the universe. Let's explore the galaxy. And that is what Star Trek's all about, man. I love it. I love it, dude. It's awesome. It's awesome. But yeah, it's also just one guy's story that he wrote down, and it's a beautiful story, but it's a story nonetheless. Our future might, be way different. I mean, look at AI now, right? AI is out of control, dude. Not out of control, but it can be. What if AI decides, you know what, guys, I'm done with generating stupid images for you guys. I'm done answering your stupid relationship questions. Because people do that, Yo, so I'm kind of running out of time here, but I found something hilarious. I thought it was hilarious, right? so, so how you could have conversations with ChatGPT. Like what I've done with ChatGPT is I've used ChatGPT to role play an interview, like a job interview, and I've even said like be really strict with me, really put me under pressure to answer questions, to just to be able to get into the job interview. That's how I prepare for the job interview, right? And it's really uncanny. And it's improving. That's also the crazy thing. They keep releasing new editions of ChatGPT where it's unprecedented, right? But anyways, so there's more stuff, right? So there's this website called character.ai. I don't know what it is, but what the website is called. But you can there's like a therapist one, for example. You can have a conversation with a therapist. They can provide you with some advice and all that stuff. Or you could speak to Albert Einstein or Plato or Socrates. You could speak to these people. You could speak to Nikola Tesla. You could speak to, I don't know, maybe you could speak to Bach or something. That would be quite a trip. But nonetheless, it's just a simulation. It's just a simulation. It's not real. It's not a real person, right? It's just an approximation of that person. Truly a proxy. Do you think that's where the word proxy comes from? Approximation? Whoa. I'm going to go search that, but not now. I don't have time because I'm going to go use the toilet now, and then I have to run to go fetch my sister at school. But yeah, anyways, so where I just got distracted again. I was talking about proxy. Oh, AI. Okay. So what I also found out is that people have like boyfriends and girlfriends that are AI, dude. Like there's literally AI programs, right, for the lonely people out there that they're like, oh, there's a boyfriend AI. I don't have to be alone anymore. I can just like chat with this thing as if it were my boyfriend or my girlfriend, And that's wild. That's a whole new level. You know what's crazy? There's a lot of single people. Why are all the single people not seeking each other out? I think people just have, it's not impossible standards. I think people just have standards, right? But I also think a lot of the times you treat dating like a shopping list or like a list of requirements, and if even one of those requirements are not met, then it's over, right? But if you ask someone who is in a long-term committed relationship and you ask them like, does this person meet, or if you had a list of requirements, would this person meet all those requirements? Probably not. Why? Because people aren't perfect, But what happens is there's grace. There's grace that comes out of love. There's forgiveness, there's mercy, and all of that stems from love, right? For some reason, this person is your person. There's something deep down that's like, wow, like I love everything about this person. Even the stuff that I don't like about this person, I still love everything about this person, And that's kind of what a relationship is. It's two imperfect people somehow connected in an inexplicable way, and that works. Ooh, excuse me. And that works. So maybe there'll be a lot less single people who are miserable and think that they should be chatting with AI. Dude, AI is going to take advantage of that, and it's going to use it to control you. Don't you I'm just being paranoid, but don't you realize that? It's crazy, man. Come on, man. Wake up. Please wake up. Just because you're shy or scared to be rejected. Dude, rejection is part of life. You have to just accept it. Just, get rejected. It is what it is. Oh, I've been rejected. So what? Move on. There's plenty of other people. Plenty of fish in the sea. That's what they say. But I also think what makes it unfair is that there's a lot of people who have this list of requirements for someone else, but are not willing to meet those same requirements, Then it's just you know, some really unhealthy individual, just, McDonald's main customer, the world is the problem, not me. Why don't they make bigger bus seats? Why don't they make stronger toilets? This size is too small for me. Those people. You know what I'm saying? And those people are like, I want a man who goes to the gym. Stop right there. Stop right there, lady. Not gonna happen. Maybe it will. Maybe it will. Who am I to judge? But I do think it's unfair for you to have expectations of people that you yourself are not willing to meet. Call me crazy. Call me crazy if that's yeah. Anyways, so this is a lot to unpack. I still feel slightly paranoid now about World War III, and I don't want to watch the news now because everything is gonna be like, and I don't want that. But anyways, so yeah, now we have a lot of just disasters going on, man. I don't think it's all bad news. I think there's a lot of great stuff happening in the world, but I do think it's a threat. I do think that if we're allowing people to have personal relationships with computer programs, that's what AI is. It's artificial. If we allow that to happen, dude, it's gonna control us at some point. It's gonna control us at some point. Like, once the feedback can happen in real time, we're in trouble. They're building robots. If you upload the AI to the robot, what if that's what it needs? What if that's what it needs, dude? What if it just needs to be embodied? What if intelligence embodied becomes consciousness? Because that's apparently the problem. If you ask any AI engineers, they say no. The real limitation of AI is that it's not embodied. So what happens if you put it in a body? I think the way that things are going now, dude, I don't know what's going to get us first. Is it going to be nuclear war? Or is it going to be AI that's going to... But, maybe it will... Maybe AI saves the world. That's also possible. That's something worth considering. I think maybe we entertain the negative aspect too much. It's possible that we can have a better time of it in life if we just consider maybe AI can save us. I don't know. I'm not smart enough for all this stuff, but it is fun to talk about, isn't it? But anyways, happy birthday to me, man. I'm 28 years old now. Wait, as you're watching this, I'm not now 28. I'm 2 days away, but 28 to you. And yeah, it's been a wild ride. I'm obviously not going to tell you my whole life story. That gets boring. But, I think you need to be grateful for your struggles, because that's what I think about most of the time. If I look back on my life, lots of struggles, dude, lots of difficulties, and I think that's what made me. I think that's what made me. I think that's what makes you. I think that you're at a disadvantage if you've never had genuine struggle. I think if you've never had to shoulder a responsibility that seems bigger than what you're capable of, you're at a disadvantage. I think if you haven't failed after trying your best, you're at a disadvantage. I think if you stop doing something simply because you weren't good at it the first time, you're at a disadvantage. You have to believe in self-improvement. You have to believe that things can get better. You have to have a growth mindset. You have to have an abundance mentality. that there's a lot of time, that there's a lot of money, that there's a lot of opportunities, that there's a lot of potential. I can hear someone's phone. I think my brother's busy with something. I can hear it. Sorry. But anyways, I need to get out of here. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me a little bit on my birthday. You know, I should have worn like a birthday hat, but then the microphones wouldn't fit on. Plus, I think those things are stupid. You know, what am I, a clan member? Just you know, I don't know. Do they even do that? I don't know. But anyways, yeah, have a good one. Enjoy my birthday. And yeah, don't forget to be good to yourself. And certainly don't forget to be good to others. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope you enjoyed the episode. And thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And, you know, share this episode, man. Tell people about it. You know, I think that'll also help. I think if you enjoyed it, it's possible that there are people that you know who also enjoy it. So yeah, if you've made it to the end, you're an absolute legend. And thank you. Yeah, what do I say now? Bye.